This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys, quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Since time immemorial, philosophers and holy men have debated what separates humans from animals. Some say it's language, some say morality, and some even say love. But you and I, dear listener, we know the truth. What separates man from animal is that we, and we alone, have policies and procedures. From the 10 Commandments all the way to the Joy of Cooking cookbook, we love to write down how we do things in our charmingly naive belief that other humans are just sitting on the edge of their seat, waiting to receive our great wisdom. In reality, of course, they're as self-absorbed as we are, and they only pretend to listen so that they can start sharing their wisdom at the first available opportunity. But there is someone who genuinely does need our wisdom and needs it in a big way. That's our future selves. To market my Get It Done groups, I have to put together an email launch. That's a series of emails that go out to my email list, and they just tell people how awesome the groups are and how they should sign up immediately so their lives will be full of magic and unicorns and fairy dust. Yay! Plus, everyone will respect them, they'll become instant trillionaires, and they will find Mr. Ms. Ziz right, or at least Mr. Ms. Ziz right now. There are 3 email lists that I send to the Get messages, and each list needs a separately written series of 3 to 4 emails. Each email must be tagged, so the same person doesn't get sent multiple emails, and each email links to a registration page that may be slightly different depending on which list they were on. That's about 10,000 moving parts, and this has to happen every single time there's a new Get It Done group starting. If there are a few months between the groups, by the time it's time to do it again, there may be a dozen tiny details that need to be relearned or reinvented, and it's way too much to remember through sheer force of memory. So the first time through, a project like this is horribly complicated, but you can make it easier next time for the future you by documenting as you go. So take a page out of the Joy of Cooking and make a recipe for doing the big, complicated task. Get a notebook to use for your procedure. This is your resource book. It's where you'll capture everything you need to do your big, complicated task. And step 1 is identify what it is that you're going to document. So ask yourself, what am I working on? I'm writing an email discussing how we can accidentally drop projects on the floor. If you give a super specific answer like that, ask yourself, what larger task is this part of? In this case, it might be, I'm creating a promotional email campaign. And you know what? That seems like right about the right level of abstractness to document. That's a good task to document. It's not too vague and too big picture, and it's also not too detailed. So this becomes the title of the resource book, Create a Promotional Email Campaign. Then just list out the steps as you do them. As you put together your promotional campaign, jot down every step in your resource book. If the first thing you do is to grab a calendar and decide dates for the emails, what you write down is 1. Grab calendar. 2. Choose dates for emails. There's absolutely nothing magical or mysterious in what you're writing. All you're doing is making a diary of the steps that you take. You do want to get down and dirty. Include all of the details. When one of your steps requires additional information or an email address or phone number or reference to a particular resource, note that too. For example, rather than just writing consult with the marketing department, paste in a copy of the agenda that you put together for that meeting. That way, the next time through, you'll know what to consult about. If you find that your project includes making phone calls, jot down who you had to call and the phone number for future reference along with why you called them. Called local health department to ensure that ink used in emails was non-toxic. Talked to Fred at 212-555-1212. Err on the side of including too much detail, because the next time you follow this process, you can simply skip details that don't apply. Think like Betty Crocker and prep your process. Once you've completed your task, you can use it as recipe for doing the same task again, but let's streamline it first. When Betty Crocker decides to make Oreo ice cream cake, and you know she does, she starts with an ingredients list, and then she goes shopping to acquire all the ingredients. Then she preps the ingredients, and only then, with them laid out on the counter ready to go, then she follows the recipe and powers right through. This is equally true of policies and procedures. When you're creating an online store, for example, you need a web page for each product and a thank you for purchasing page. If you create the thank you page first, then when you create the product page, you can link the thank you page to the product page directly. However, if you don't do that first, then when you're creating the product page, you get to the point where it says, enter the link to your thank you page here, and now you have to stop what you're doing and go back and create the thank you page. If you have the thank you page prepped and ready, then the later parts of the procedure, setting up the sales page, is as easy as peaches and cream. Scan your list and pull out everything that would qualify as an ingredient that should be handled first so that everything else goes more smoothly. Move those things to the top of the list so you do them first next time. I actually label these things ingredients when I'm writing up a procedure. That way, it's obvious that they need to be done first, and also it makes me feel warm and fuzzy thinking of warm, wonderful cookies baking in an oven just in case little Hansel and Gretel pop by for a morsel. My entire online promotion campaign for Get It Done groups has 6 web pages, and when you add together all of the different thank you messages and reminders and the 3 or 4 different mailing lists I send to, 16 email messages. Some of them are as simple as thank you, but others are entire articles. Those are my ingredients. By creating those ingredients first, entering them into an email marketing platform, coding everything with tags, and automating the campaign actually becomes pretty straightforward. Create your own resource books for anything you think that future you will need to do a second time. Decide the level of detail you're going to capture, and then record each step as you do it, along with any supporting information, phone numbers, etc. When you're done, review the book and separate out the things that need to be done first, the ingredients that the recipe uses, and then rewrite those up front so that next time you can just grab your ingredients first and go. And that's the goal with the Get It Done groups. An email launch may be time-consuming to do right today, but once the process is duly recorded, future me will be able to do it lickety-split, leaving plenty of time to ponder philosophical questions about the differences between humans and animals. I'm Steve Robbins. Follow Get It Done Guy on Twitter and Facebook, and if you have projects that need to get done because they're stalled or taking too long or you just haven't gotten around to them, check out my Get It Done Group's accountability groups. You can learn more at steverrobbins.com or join my personal email list by texting Get It Done to 33444. You'll also get a free copy of my secret book chapter on how to build relationships that help you succeed. Work less, do more, and have a great life.